Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Thursday, July 12th, 11:08 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. You're looking at a massive laze plume coming off of Fissure 8 in Kilauea's currently ongoing eruption, creating new landmass on the Big Island that they will probably sell to some people in the future. Here you see the main channeling this morning with the drone flyby. Several structures being destroyed today. The remaining structures in Kapoho and in that region, I believe, including a church. This eruption is not over. It's ongoing. Welcome to the grand solar minimum. Come check out this footage from USGS, Big Island News. We're stalling up already. Must be the Friday the 13th uncut edition of the Grand Solar Minimum Update. Guys, did you know that we're Weather Ready Nation ambassadors? Say that 3 times fast. And if you can look us up, the Oppenheimer Ranch Project is listed under NOAA as a Weather Ready Nation ambassador, which is why we use the Weather Ready Nation map. Summer heat and monsoon threats, hot temperatures building across portions of the west with triple-digit temperatures forecast in the northern Sacramento Valley. Continuing into portions in the Midwest, monsoon moisture remains firmly entrenched across the desert southwest and the Four Corners region. Flash flooding possible in this area through the weekend. Locally, excessive rain may also impact portions of the plains. Here we have thunderstorm watches and warnings here for southern Minnesota and eastern South Dakota. Heat advisories and watches for Missouri, eastern Missouri, southeastern Kansas, and eastern Oklahoma. Flash flood warnings and watches for southern Nevada. And we have red flag warnings up here in Washington and Oregon, in the desert regions. So that's a heads up. High fire warnings coming soon. Epic snow to hurricane. We're talking about Newfoundland. How did this happen in days? Well, it's zonal flow versus meridional flow. We're going into the grand solar minimum, so the pattern's going to be more in this orange variety. And that has the ability to bring Arctic air down and warm air up, including tropical storms. So tropical storm hitting right after an Arctic cold front came down. And that's tonight's first boom. Epic snow and a hurricane. How did it happen? Thursday, July 12th. As Newfoundland braces for impact for post-tropical storm Chris, it already passed just hours ago. It's hard to believe. Just 16 days ago, parts of the island were digging out from summer snow. Driving alerts and frost advisories were also in place at the end of June. That's because the grand solar minimum pattern has taken over. That's where we are. You are here, kids. We're going to get to that. We're going to be talking about these 4 points as they relate to the bigger picture of the great year. Here you're looking at direct comparison of the past 4 interglacial periods, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 points we were just talking about. And the particular line that we're on is very significant. There is a 2 to 4 degree drop. 2 to 4 degrees C drop historically in all of the past 4 interglacial periods at this moment. Yes, the one I'm talking, that's the moment I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you are here on the drop where 2 to 4 degrees C in the historic past has occurred. And when it happens, it goes from a zonal flow to a meridional flow, which causes crop loss, global unrest, and famine. Whew. Heads up, Eastern Cape. Good rainfall amounts possible on the 13th of July. Friday the 13th uncut edition. As cold front and upper air system moves through, 10 to 20 millimeters widely expected, with 20 to 30 millimeters in the central and eastern parts. Snow likely on the mountains, especially in the northeast and high ground with very cold temps. Boom. Yes, Denzel, it is a boom. South African boom, nonetheless. Friday the 13th uncut edition, South African boom. Whew. This thing is getting creepy. Queensland weather, flash flooding expected on coldest night of the year, turning our sun-kissed country into a winter wonderland. Friday the 13th uncut edition, boom style. Yes, it's true. Queensland weather, flash flooding expected. Southeast Queensland prepares to shiver. Let me try to do an Australian accent here. Slipping out the shrimp on the barbie. Through another cold night of the year so far, authorities are warning flash flood in the low-lying areas due to king tide. As Boom has lied to us before, low of 6C overnight Friday and Saturday in Brisbane, which could fall below the year's previous record low of 6.9C June 16th. The Gold Sunshine Coast also will be bloody cold with 3 years since the vortex and everything froze and people could ride on the cars. That, yes, is a boom, a bomb boom of epic proportions. White screen, Friday the 13th uncut edition. Thank God that graphic's up. Time to rug up. Australia's east coast to shiver through the coldest weekend of the year so far as temperatures plunge to -5C and will be -1C in Sydney. Australia's east coast is set to experience the coldest weekend so far this year. Parts of New South Wales and Victoria set to chill below zero. According to meteorologists, the midwinter weather is well below average. Let me repeat. The midwinter weather is well below average. Friday the 13th uncut. Boom edition. Below average. The bomb said it was going to be warm. A global warming alarmist we had on the radio show said it was going to be cold. Oxymoron much. Parts of Australia recording the lowest winter temperatures and the most snow in years. This is facts. Boom style. Denzel fact boom style. Parts of Australia recording the lowest winter temperatures and most snow in years. Come down here and you will see that after a night of steady cooling, the temperatures in Queensland town drop below 0.2 degrees just before 7 a.m. Glorious. Look at that. Whew. Biblical. No, actually, it's just a picture of the sun. After a night of steady cooling on the temperatures of Queensland and the town of Thurman dropped to 0.2 degrees before 7 a.m., the site's coldest morning since 2012. Geez, let's add that up. That's 6 years. 6 boom years. Whew. Friday the 13th uncut edition style. Near Ballast gas field, 1.6 degrees was also the lowest temperature in 7 years. Boom. Friday the 13th uncut boom edition styles 1.6. Across the border, it was the coldest morning in 3 years in the Northern Territories. Friday, boom. Friday the 13th. You get the picture. This dog is totally happy. Yes, that's an Australian sheepdog. Heads up, he's in the right country. Boom. I love it when a plan comes together. It's cold there, kids. And I'm sure Al Gore is not vacationing in Australia currently. Hundreds of homes destroyed as dike bursts amid melting snow in northern Afghanistan. Snow that they promised would not exist. However, fell in such huge proportions now that destroyed dikes are bursting amid the melting snow. Boom. Boom. Bursting like a boom. There it is. Call it whatever you will. A mudslide, a landslide, a boom slide. It's just a big mess. Melting snow is being blamed for triggering a dike burst in the northern Afghanistan on Wednesday night. The torrent of floodwaters swept through numerous villages. That wasn't it. That was just a picture of some stupid stream. It's crazy how they do this. Yes, melting snow is being blamed for triggering a dike bursting in northern Afghanistan Wednesday night. The torrent swept through numerous villages, destroying hundreds of homes and claiming lives. 10 people are dead, 300 homes inundated near Pajshir Valley, which is in Kabul, which we blew up, according to the Associated Press. More than a dozen people remain missing, which pale in comparison to the thousands we murdered when we bombed them. and took over their country. This is all garbage. Seismic update. Kilauea exploding. 5.3 volcanic eruption 3 hours ago. And here we have a nice sequence of events. 5.5 at depth down in the Blot Echo region, 539 kilometers. And then coming up only a 5.2 in Tonga just recently. So we're going to be looking for 6.0 or greater activity in this region. And it could translate down into New Zealand over here towards Indonesia. The area east of Mayotte has completely stopped. The quake swarm has ended. No quakes in Mayotte. No other real quakes of note worldwide. 5.2, 4.9 kicking off just recently. So we're going to be watching that region. Worldwide volcano news update. Katiminsk, possible eruption in the Kamchatka. We have Krakatoa still brewing. In fact, at record levels, Shivalush, Dukono, Agung, Reventador, Sakurajima, still popping, won't be stopping, Sabancaya. Now, Krakatoa volcano, continuous intense explosions, heard 42 kilometers away, off the scale, seismic activity. Let's get to it. It's crazy. Look at these charts. This is just the last 24 hours, and there's some foreign video that's coming in where these guys are going, and it's amazing because they don't even have enough ink for this fucking thing. It is. It's from 1947, and it is in a Samsonite. You know how this smells, this little box here? It's got that odor of grandpa's basement with mothballs and stuff. But this seismogram is off the charts, kids. Now, let me give you my geologic opinion here. This caldera complex has a very storied history as far as activity, including the massive Plinian 1883 eruption, which darkened the earth and people worldwide shit their pants. And I believe that what we're seeing here is definite evidence that soon people on this earth are going to be shitting their pants. And that's really worthy of a boom. Now, Krakatoa's been seismically going off the charts today, and this is following. Now, look over here at the historic eruptions. Yeah, quite frequent, unfortunately. And if we go back in the historic past, we're talking about that 1883 Plinian eruption, a 1530 eruption, and there are some evidence that there were earlier eruptions that helped end the Roman Empire. Now, should we be worried? No, we should be stoked because the current system you're living in is a slavery model and it's complete nonsense. Facts are fiction and fiction are facts. And we need to get back to basics. You need to learn how to survive and thrive in the future. And self-resilience is the key. We're not talking about the old Stone Age. This is called the new Stone Age. It's going to be a badass time where we work together using, pseudo-technology and knowledge and science to jump through the hurdles. But if this baby blows, the planet's going to get dark and people are going to jump off roofs. That's just facts. Can you imagine the lines in Walmart? Oh my God. Friday the 13th edition, uncut lines. Now, this volcano has been outgassing, and the magma chamber that is capable of VEI 6 or greater eruptions is now filling with lava, according to these seismograms. And it's filling with lava today. Look at how much lava is filling the region. What do you think, Denzel? Yes, that's what we think at the channel. Friday the 13th uncut style booms. Now, prior proper planning will prevent piss poor performance during this boom event, which is imminent. And I'm not talking tomorrow, which it could be. There's probably a 0.001% tomorrow it will explode at VEI 6 or greater. But the amount of magma necessary to move into this caldera to create that will be obvious. So we're absolutely going to be able to predict it with pinpoint accuracy like never before in modern times because of technology, which is soon no longer going to exist. Yes, it's when the sun. Yeah, but we'll talk about that at the end. So, Krakatoa filling with lava, the magma chambers coming to life again as the cosmic ray flux increases. This is predictable. Most volcanoes don't re-erupt like this, except for Laki and maybe Krakatoa. So what we're going to be looking for in the future is for continued seismic uptick like this as the magma chamber fills and those voids resettle, and then it will stop or it will quiet down, and then we're going to see the surface start to swell. We're going to see Krakatoa volcanoes altimeters go off the charts. And then the whole world can then begin to buy extra Pampers. And if you don't know what those are diapers. And that's a boom. Eruptions intensify off the scale. Seismic at Anak, Krakatoa, Indonesia. Thank you, watchers. We're watching it too. A ghostly particle detected in Antarctica has led astronomers to a supermassive spinning black hole called the Blazar. Whew. Awesome word and awesome graphics, man. Let's get it on it. Look at the Blazar. Can you imagine flying the spaceship in there, Tyler? It would be awesome. It'd be like a boom. Friday the 13th Uncut Edition, boom, in the Blazar. Now, a Blazar is not that shitty vehicle made by GMC that everyone buys when they're 17. Now, a Blazar is a laser, blazing laser. And basically, it's a quasar. It's a quasar of epic proportion, Jimmy. Every so often, protons and even atomic nuclei strike the Earth with extreme high energies, much higher than what scientists can produce in the most powerful physics experiments. Now, since the discovery of the cosmic rays, Jimmy John, 100 years ago, no one knew for sure where the most energetic of these particles came from until now. Ain't that right, Billy Bob? On Thursday, the scientists from institutions across the globe announced they have confirmed a source of these ultra-high energy cosmic rays. And we know for a fact that here on Earth, that all those little ladies up there in them airplanes are losing their hair and their teeth are going to fall out. Now, thanks to combined data from the light and the what does that say? Single high energy neutrino particle, the source is a blazar. Now, this is a supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy emitting high energy jets of light and radiation pointed straight at Earth. What are the odds? Well, they're very low. But we detected one of these little particles deep in the Earth here. And unfortunately, it's true that we are in the exact beam of this blazar, the Earth is. And as our waning magnetosphere is happening before your very lives, this blazar is pointed directly at Earth. And it is these very cosmic rays that are going to wreak havoc on our planet, in your lives, and your loved ones' lives. How do we know this? Well, it's called science. And thanks to the ice cube detector at the South Pole, they spotted a particle called a neutrino with an incredible amount of energy, 290 tera electron volts, or more than 290,000 fucking times the energy of a proton at rest, and tens of times more energetic than the protons at the Large Hadron Collider that all you psychopaths that wear the tinfoil hats think they control the weather, and they steer it in. They're just like Nazis. Whew. Man, what a night. Friday the 13th Uncut Edition. Let's talk about these cosmic rays. They sensed a neutrino, a neutrino, yes. And then Fermi told us there was a blazar right in the path of these neutrinos. Then all the telescopes started looking. And they looked, and they looked, and they looked. And guess what they saw? Whew. Let's check the science. Multi-messenger observations of a flaring blazar coincident with high-energy neutrino ice cube 17922A. Yes, it's true. Neutrino emissions from a flaring blazar. Neutrinos interact only very weakly with matter, but giant detectors have succeeded in detecting a small number of astrophysical neutrinos. Aside from a diffuse background, only 2 individual sources have been identified. The sun, which we're waiting to completely grand solar minimize us, right? And a nearby supernova in 1987. However, a multi-team collaboration detected a high-energy neutrino event whose arrival direction was consistent with a known blazar. That means we're right on edge of this blazar. And according to this paper, neutrino emissions from the direction of the blazar, TXS 0506 plus 056 prior to the ice cube 170922A alert, confirms it. Whew. That was a lot to talk about, but there'll be links below and your mind will be blown. Let's give this a minute. There is music involved. But kids, we shared this months ago when it happened. And it's coming from the Goldstone Solar System radar. And then this rare double asteroid revealed by NASA completely baffled them. And we all know why it baffled NASA. Well, because they're a bunch of, they're not that smart. So let's come in. Rare double asteroid revealed. The Goldstone pictures are amazing. And both of these objects are 3,000 meters across. Yes. Okay, feet. I was exaggerating by a factor of 3, but that's tiny. It's not like the global warming alarmists. Now, the binary asteroid made its closest approach to Earth on June 21st, 2017. When we reported on it, it was insane. The Goldstone Solar System radar first detected 2017 YE5 could be 2 distinct objects, and now it's confirmed. Look at this resolution. The joint radar observations at the Arecibo project has confirmed this is exactly what it looks like. 2017 YE5 is only the 4th binary near-Earth asteroid ever seen. And the 2 objects may have different surface properties, which is why they're a little different color here. Thank you, Jet Propulsion Labs, for keeping secrets and sharing them in plain sight. Space weather news, 2 weeks without sunspots. The sun has been without spots for 15 straight days. To find an equally long stretch with blank suns, you have to go all the way back to 2019, which is the last solar minimum, when the sun was emerging from the deepest solar minimum in 100 years. However, 15 days without sunspots is not a long time. In fact, we went 52 consecutive days last cycle. And I am predicting 365 days consecutive spotless, starting in summer 2019 and ending in summer 2020. Now let's talk about the Friday the 13th uncut edition solar eclipse. If you live in Tasmania, this Friday the 13th is your lucky day. The new moon will pass in front of the sun, off center, taking a bite out of the solar disk. This video, created by graphic artist Larry Cohn, will blow your mind. And that's the final boom of the day. Proper prior planning will prevent piss poor performance on the Friday the 13th uncut edition. Thank you, Space Weather News, for this amazing closing picture of noctilucent clouds. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. Times are changing. Noctilucent clouds are simply illuminated high stratospheric anomalies that happen in these cold sun times. If you're picking up what we're putting down, then you're putting in the ground seeds, and they're popping up. And that's a boom. Be safe. We love you.